Hello, and welcome to Authors Amplified. I'm your host, Stephanie O'Neill. My show is a part of the Amplified Podcast Network, where ideas echo and voices resonate. With over 20 years at Christian Television Network, I've had the privilege of meeting countless talented and spiritual individuals, and it's too inspiring not to share. I'm just a girl who loves Jesus wholeheartedly. I'm eager to learn and grow, and I'd like you to join me on this journey. In each episode, I'll be speaking with Christian authors who will share their stories and insights about the books they've written. I'm thrilled to have you with us, so let's get started. Welcome to another Authors Amplified. I am super excited about this interview, about this book. One of my heart's desires and my goals is to get children reading, to get parents and grandparents reading to their children and grandchildren again, to slow down and connect. And this book is called BEDSLIME Blues by Kris Tarantino. Kris, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I am so excited to have you. This meets one of my goals. So I'm thrilled that the Lord brought this to me.
So am I. Me too.
Yeah. So can you just tell us a little bit about you before we start so we know who we're listening to?
Oh, okay. Well, I went to college for business marketing and art because back then I wanted to work in the toy industry. And senior year, I was placed in an internship at Western Publishing, Little Golden Books. And besides books for kids, they make all kinds of toy products. So I was exposed to a lot of books. I always loved children's books. And then I just got to love them even more. And then fast forward, I had my kids and I stayed home. We did a lot of reading and I loved the books even more. And then when they got a little bit older, I decided, hey, I want to be a children's book author too. And then I started that journey, which is not a short journey, but it took about 10 years to break in. Yeah. And so here I am now with my second book coming out, BEDSLIME Blues.
Well, that's such an interesting thought. You just think one day you want to be a children's book author.
Yes, it can be that simple, right? It doesn't have to be any more complex than
Right?
that.
I love that. Sometimes we put too much thought into things.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought being on the business side of kids publishing, like, oh, this would be a breeze. Like, I know what I'm doing. Well, no, it's a whole different thing to be on the creative side. So there was a lot to learn. And I just soaked it all in and just over the years, and now here I am.
Yeah, it has to be something that you write a book, and then you send it off thinking you've written this amazing, perfect book, but then it comes back to you all redlined, right?
Yeah. Well, I should also say that I always knew I wanted to be in traditional publishing and not self-publish.
Gotcha.
Just because I had come from the business side of consumer products and the business side of publishing. And I know what a traditional publisher can do marketing wise and sales wise versus just little you on your own.
Right.
So I never did entertain the self-publishing world, but a lot of people do. I just chose the path of traditional publishing.
Right. And this is a second book of a series, correct?
Yes, the first book is called Be My BEDSLIME. And it's obviously, I know, it's hilarious, focused on Valentine's Day. And it's a group of monsters. And Snoodle, the little green monster, she loves Valentine's Day. But guess what? Her friends do not. They're monsters. So it's a whole journey wrapped around 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient, love is kind, not easily angered. It's a whole journey around that as Snoodle tries to show her friends that love is worth celebrating. So she exhibits all these attributes towards them as they pop her balloons and wreck her bakery and all these monstery things that they do until a little act of love transforms them that she does when she creates Valentine's for them, and then they're changed.
I
So
love
that was the first book.
yes,
Yeah.
that. And that one you were saying has let me get it together. First Corinthians woven throughout the story. So is BEDSLIME Blues tied to a Bible verse?
It is. It was crafted around Psalm 4:8.
Mm-hmm.
I will lie down and sleep in peace, for you, O Lord, for you alone, Lord, will keep me safe. Now, the Bible verse is not in the text; you won't see it,
Mm-hmm.
but the themes of settling down and finding peace are woven throughout.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, bedtime, it's about bedtime routines, right? You have four monster friends who try to resist bedtime, which every parent knows that struggle.
Right, right, right. So it's the same four main monsters from Be My Slime:
Mm-hmm.
Iggy, Zizi, Fleck, and Snoodle. And yes, they do resist bedtime. And so the book tackles some of the main ways that, kids would do that. And each
Mm-hmm.
monster has kind of their own moment of Iggy doesn't want to take a bath, and Zizi's jammies don't fit. So there's a little bit of a fit. And Fleck wants to read like 10 stories instead of one or two. I know. And Snoodle, she can't find her little stuffy Loppy. So that's a crisis. But all of that gets resolved with a little, loving help from the parents, mom and dad,
Yeah.
and each monster kind of settles down into peace
And
at the end.
you had three children. I have a feeling like some of these stories might come from experience.
It's, yeah, 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 pretty much all of it.
So I know you talk about like peace. How can children learn that the rewards of peace lead to a good night?
Okay, good question. Well, I would say as each monster, gruffs and grumps throughout the typical bedtime routines, the kids will relate. They'll see themselves in the monsters, and they'll see how Iggy, Zizi, Fleck, and Snoodle, how they handle that and how the grumps kind of melt away, um, in conjunction with the parents' help and all that. And also through the art. Corey Dorfield is the illustrator, and she's a New York Times bestselling illustrator, and she's really brought them to life.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see all of their expressions and all of her little details and their transformation
Mm-hmm.
really clearly in the art in a joyous and peaceful way too.
Right. It has beautiful colors throughout the book, and the illustrations, I was going to mention that, is amazing. So it's a book that you wouldn't just sit and read to your child, you would read it together as you look through the illustrations.
Right. And what she's done in this book is we start out and the monsters are all playing outside like kids do. And Snoodle does have her little stuffed floppy. And we see that the ribbon goes astray and one of the little button eyes comes off. And then we see also that Loppy is left outside. So then at the very end of the story, kids will see, where that little button eye ended up, and and they'll see where the ribbon is. So there's little fun details for the kids to find.
Mm-hmm. And what's great is because once they start learning about the rewards of peace, they can learn about, you can bring in God's perfect peace to the story, right?
Exactly, exactly. So, in addition to reading, I mean, parents can really start a discussion with their child about how God never sleeps and is always watching over us. And yes, how God's perfect peace comforts us and protects and soothes and smooths um, and just really takes care of those little bumps in the night so that we can all go to sleep in peace.
Right. And then that leads into being able to to talk to your children about how God's peace is for everyone.
Exactly. Like even parents need God's peace, and they need to settle down and find peace, in their hearts and bodies and minds to go to sleep. So I think little listeners they're going to smile and nod and they're going to get it. They're going to see the monsters. And towards the end, the monsters are pretty calmed down. They say their prayers and they get their goodnight hugs and kisses and they're yawning. And they're going to see that bedtime really is slime-tastic, even for monsters.
I love bedtime. I don't know about you, but I love bedtime.
Well, I know we're not kids.
So funny. So, let's go back a little bit to the beginning. Like, how did you pick the topics for the books? Because you picked Valentine's and you picked bedtime. Was it just from like you remembering things from your children and it was a great subject for you?
Good question. So before I broke in, I was writing all kinds of different stories because you never know what exactly is going to grab what editor, and I was submitting a lot of different stories. So I went and attended this writing conference, and that's where I had a one-on-one with this editor. And before I had my one-on-one earlier in the day, she had talked about in her talk to the whole audience that they're on the hunt for holiday books, not Christmas or Easter, because they had plenty of those, but other holidays. So then when I had my one-on-one with her, I said, well, how about Valentine's Day? I have this Valentine's story. And, she's from Black, so Christian book publisher. And I said, it wraps around 1 Corinthians 13. So I pitched her the whole thing and she liked it. She said, send it to me after the conference, which I did. And then she acquired it and we went from there. So that's how the first one came to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one, BEDSLIME Blues, the team, the publishing team, the marketing, the sales, promotion, editorial, I mean, they all got together and they said, what topic, what do we want to do for the second book? And they landed on bedtime because it's such an evergreen category for kids' books.
Mm-hmm.
And parents love bedtime books, kids love bedtime books, and they wanted something that could sell year round, not just a holiday, because holidays, are in and out.
Right.
So that's how that came to be, and that wasn't written. So once they did decide that, then I had to figure out, well, what am I going to do? How is it going to look? How would I approach bedtime? Because there's a lot of different ways to approach it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. There's
Yeah.
there's a few things that kids will learn from this book, which if you're gonna read to your kids at night, it might as well be something that will help them, in life. So the first thing is bedtime doesn't have to be boring,
Yeah.
right? And that
Yeah.
everybody brushes their teeth at night, putting on pajamas, and you can make a game out of it.
Right. And exactly, especially like Iggy in the bathtub and he was fighting all that. But then he started to use his imagination with some of the little toys laying around, and there you go. And kids are masters at imagination. And I know a lot of little kids play in the bathtub, so it shouldn't be a hard leap for them.
Right.
But just in case they don't, like that can make part of bedtime fun.
Right. And then another thing they can learn is that everyone struggles with bedtime sometimes.
Yes, exactly. And if they can see that these grumpy monsters can settle down and find peace and go to sleep, they can too.
Right. Right. And a positive attitude changes everything. And that can be just not for bedtime. That can be for all day.
Well, I love, like in this book, so Snoodle, she can't find Loppy, her stuffy, so she goes into immediate panic, like my kids would. And I love then that I wrote the dad in, and he gets it, right? He knows like they are on the verge of a meltdown. So he's right there and ready to help Snoodle hunt for Loppy. And I made it kind of fun. So they become detectives, and Snoodle gets her magnifying glass and they start looking for clues and they find that missing ribbon and they find footsteps and kind of go from there and they find Loppy. So it made it fun instead of everybody getting upset and angry.
Right. And being stressed. Another thing they learn is family makes bedtime special. It doesn't have to be like a fight every night. It can be a special time for family together.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's a great observation because we do see a parent involved with each. So it's not just go to your room and go to bed. There's
Right.
reading stories and there's helping with pajamas and got to find the missing loppy. And yeah, it's a family togetherness thing.
Mm-hmm. And another thing they can learn is faith and gratitude brings peace.
I love that too. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. You can tell from the monsters that, they are grateful and finding the peace plus the love of their parents. And it's just like a wonderful, joyous thing at the end.
Right. There's so much that can be going on in kids' minds, whether they're going to school, they're going to daycare, they're home with their siblings during the day. There's just so much that could be going on that to know that they could have this peaceful time at night could bring such comfort.
Yeah. And Corey chose all these blues and purples and
Mm,
and more calming, peaceful colors. I
yes.
think purposely just to create more of a calming feel for the book.
Right. Yeah. And then
Something else to throw out for your audience is that um, picture books in today's world, they
mhm,
are a lower word count, so parents can get through them really quickly
right.
because everybody realizes parents are super busy and there's a lot of two-parent working households. So they're not, 2,000, 3,000 words anymore. They're, 300 words. So, pick up a book or two, read to your kids at night,
Yeah.
and they'll love it and you'll get through it quickly
Yeah. It's
and
very,
find peace.
yeah. I would love to encourage parents to take a deep breath at night, slow down. Because if I have my daughter's 29, and I regret that I didn't sit with her at bedtime and read her books because she's not a big reader now. She's so smart, so unbelievably smart. And I don't know where she gets it from. But she's not a big reader of books. And I wish I would have sat down more with her and just took the time and read with her and read to her and everything. So I want to encourage parents, please just I know I understand life is busy. It is, but take those few minutes at night and bring that peace to your children and bring that connection with your children because it's something you'll never regret.
Exactly. You won't regret it. And there's so many wonderful picture books out now in the shorter word count with just great, captivating, fun topics. You
Mm-hmm.
can't go wrong.
Right. It would be fun too, like if either mom, dad, or if they had older siblings to see like how differently each one would be a storyteller at bedtime. You could really make a
Sure.
game out of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. What voice are you going to use? What inflection? Yeah, that would be fun.
Right. And for those single parent, we're not leaving you out. I mean, you just take those few minutes with your kids and it will be something that you will just remember forever.
Yes, absolutely. Because you're snuggled together. And like
Right.
you said, the connection will last forever.
Right. So I want to encourage the first book too. It was Be My Valen Slime.
Yes.
I just love the names because there's a whole television network that has a rewards or a award show around slime. So we know
Yeah,
that
that's
kids love
right.
slime.
They do love slime and they love monsters.
Yes. So the first one is Be My Valen Slime. This one is called Bed Slime Blues. The author is Kris Tarantino. So where can our listeners find your books?
Pretty much everywhere. You can go online to Amazon, Barnes and Noble, ChristianBooks.com, um, Target, Walmart. You can go on my website, ChrisTarantino.com, And I've got all the order links, but you can also just go to direct to say Amazon if that's what you want to do.
Sure. Or we want to encourage you to go into your local bookstores. If they don't have it, you can ask them to order it. And I really want to encourage you, if you have mom and pop stores around, that's
Yes.
I want to encourage you. If you have those, go in there. If they don't have it, they'll order it for you.
Yes, the local independent bookstores love to order in books, and
Mhm.
that helps them discover them too.
Right.
And then they'll, more than likely carry them in store.
Yeah, I will forever push little mom and pop stores of everything, bookstores, restaurants, all of that.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'll be at one over the launch period too, locally
Oh,
where I
nice.
live, as well as in the Barnes and Nobles.
Oh,
Mhm.
wonderful. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it really is.
Very.
I go for story time and then I'm there to sign books, talk to kids, parents, and they can see everything up close.
Right. So much fun. Thank you so much, Kris, for your time. I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. And thank you for the books. They're amazing. And I can't wait for people to see them.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thanks. Thanks for tuning in to Authors Amplified. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and subscribe for more incredible authors next time.